Yo, Zach Lowe has been on a pro San Antonio Spurs agenda for a while, and I have to say I'm definitely here for it. I'm here for it.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys. So Zach Lowe has something to say about the San Antonio Spurs this upcoming season, and I want to see if we agree or disagree with our boy here. Now, before we take a look at what Zach Lowe has to say, I want to tell you guys, please go subscribe to Spurs Invasion. Link below in the description box. It is my other channel, my second channel, in which I do edited, scripted content. Still working on it. Gonna have a video out in the next week, so give me at least this 8-day stretch, and I'll get that out to you. But yes, it's gonna be on Jeremy Sohan. I'm really excited about that one. But guys, please go subscribe to Spurs Invasion. All right, enough of that. Zach Lowe, my boy, what do you have to say for yourself?
I know what the Spurs are probably going to look like if Wembanyama's healthy. Now, we don't know that, but
that's really loud.
Spurs have pick swaps from Dallas, Minnesota, and Sacramento in 2030 and 2031. Clearly, this is a calculated strategy of A, we're going to be good so we can swap up. B, we're going to be needing low-price talent injections around Wembanyama in the apron era with little ability to do it. And that's one way we can do it, through the draft. If we up our pick and have a better chance of getting an actual good player in the draft. A+ work for the Spurs. I have no notes for the Spurs. Harrison Barnes can fit on their team. They can flip Harrison Barnes at the deadline for some draft assets. I'm telling you right now, Chris Herring, I'm calling it now. The Spurs are going to be in the playoff race next year.
I don't disagree with you.
I know it's.
Oh man, so I was with him the whole time. And then he kind of lost me. All right, he kind of lost me at the end. He had me in the first half, and then he lost me a little bit. So all right, first off, the first thing that he said about the San Antonio Spurs and the future picks. I know that the knee-jerk reaction from a lot of people were, oh my God, how could you trade Dilly for these two picks or whatnot? And it's like, dude, if you don't have faith in who's left, it's totally fine for you to just go ahead and trade away trade away that pick, especially since that was a freebie to begin with, right? The Spurs, all they did was extend it out a little bit. They were like, we're not really feeling this one, and who might be worth, because it's really tough to get unprotected picks and swaps and all that. All right, is there anyone left that I think down the line could potentially be even worth two unprotected? And if you don't think that, then there's no reason to, hang around and do that. Now, the thing, I completely agree with him in saying that it's kind of crazy because the Spurs did set it up where around that 20-30 mark is when you'll be given the big bucks, okay? That's when, hopefully my boy Sohan, I know a lot of people talk bad about my boy, but Sohan, Fasale, and Wemby will be getting the big bucks. And now you're gonna have to figure something out, right? You're gonna have to figure out, how can you add talent to this team while still being in a good range. Fortunately for the San Antonio Spurs, we've had a dynasty before. We're good. Like, the Spurs have had a dynasty. They know how this works. We're not one of those teams that's figuring it out as we go or anything. Like, they know. They have the blueprint. The reason why the Spurs were able to be successful for so long was A, Tim Duncan, B, the other two, right? We know Tony Manu, but most importantly is that the Spurs were able to add into the draft after draft, able to make the appropriate trades when they could in order to bring more talent to the team. So that's how they were able to build their dynasty and keep it a dynasty, keep it strong. And they're doing the exact same thing now. So a lot of people that are so quick to judge Brian Wright in the front office, it's really weird to me, especially since the Spurs have proven time and time again that they know what they're doing, right? I'm not going to sit here. I will never be, and let me get this out of the way too. I will never be dogmatic when it comes to this, okay? I will never just be like, oh, whatever the San Antonio Spurs do, I am content with it and I am happy with. I will never do that. When I have my opinions, it's genuinely because yes, I do think that they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but also it's because I genuinely get it. I understand when they make certain decisions, and I think that they're pretty good decisions on what they've done thus far. I think we've had a phenomenal offseason. Now, with that being said, the last part of this, like I said, you had me in the first half. Second, the Spurs being in the playoff race, I expect that the Spurs will win 35 games, right? I think 35 is a fine one to go for, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There's going to be a few teams, on this list that are going to be worse. One that stands out in particular that's very obvious. I could be wrong, but I think it's pretty obvious that the Warriors would be worse. I think they're on the downhill slide. But the Spurs will have to, this past season at least, the Spurs would have had 46 wins, nearly 50 wins in the West to just try to get into the playoffs. And in order to already be in the playoffs, you would have had right at 50, right? So like, that's really tough. I expect the Spurs to get 35 wins. That's my margin this year. I think 35 wins will be doable. And it's just a matter of how the landscape of the West looks going into that. And does that 35 get you to 10? It could. A few of these teams are going to be worse, but that's a tough one, man. That's a really tough one for me. So you guys can let me know what you think of that. I personally don't expect us to be in the playoff race. Maybe 10. Maybe. But if that's what he meant by playoff race, sure. But maybe 10. But right now, at least as a fan standpoint, I just want us to get to 35 wins, and I will be content. And then the next season, that's when things really pop off. That's how I'm viewing it right now. And we already know that Chris Paul's incentive in his contract to get an extra 20. Oh no, 20. I'm not. It was about 20,000. Why would he do it for 20,000? $262,000 incentive to get the Spurs to 32 wins. So who knows? But anyways, I will get with you guys later. That's all I really had to say about that. Once again, please go subscribe to Spurs Invasion. Link below in the description box. Thank you guys for all the love that you've shown. I've actually been, and I'm not going to do it yet, but I've actually been thinking about making a third channel. But I got to get the Spurs Invasion one popping off, get enough subscribers on it, get people viewing it, get a good routine of what I'm going to do, because I do work a full-time job. So this isn't my life. You'll be surprised. YouTube does not pay you that much. So I got the YouTube channel going on, the second YouTube channel, work, and all that good stuff. So it's going to be pretty tough to do the third channel, but I will eventually get to that point, and I will be into that. Also, one thing just to bring it up to you guys, I going to be studying Japanese. Okay, I want to learn Japanese. Reason being is because my partner, she is actually half Japanese. So hey, I want to visit Japan one day. I like anime. Obviously I like anime. So it'll be nice to start learning it. So that's what I'm going to be working on. So I got a lot going on. But yeah, we'll eventually get to a third channel as well. Sorry, that's a lot of babbling. That was like a whole 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of babbling. I'll give it to you guys later, man. Thanks for all the love. Till next time. Bye.